Hey guys, Levi here with Trident Fly Fishing, and today we're going to be tying a Flex Fleye. This is another genius pattern developed by Bob Popovic. Really good pattern for imitating things like silver sides, juvenile herring, juvenile mullet, small bait fish like that. You can do bay anchovies and freshwater baits as well, like dace and that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and get started with an Ahrex SA280 hook in the vise. This is a size 1, but you can tie this fly larger, smaller, whatever you need to match those bait fish in your water. So let's lay down a thread base, and for thread we're using Unimono in 4/1000 diameter. So let's go ahead and run that back to the bend of the hook and then go ahead and advance it upward. This is just a real easy trick for tying in materials like this whenever you don't want to measure it. Just hit it with a loose wrap or so, and then just pull it to where you need it with your left hand. I'm right-handed, so you have to switch that if you're a left-handed tyer. So go ahead and run that all the way back to our thread, and we'll bring our thread forward just to about where we tied that in. Now we're going to come in here and wrap this all the way up the shank. And while this braid does have some aesthetic value to it in that it provides a real good belly to your bait fish, this is more in the fly to provide something for the flex resin and the SF fibers to bind to. Aids in durability, but like I said, it does also look pretty good. So bring that on up, and again, leave yourself about an eye's length right there for our future tying. So clip that off and tie it in. From there, we're going to move into some ram's wool, or sheep fleece is another term for it. This is real good stuff. Again, not an aesthetic value to the fly. This is strictly purpose driven. So I'm looking for a nice clump, about that big. And I pre-brushed this earlier at my house, but a good idea when working with this is to come in with a brush of some sort, whether it's a dog brush or a fly tying comb, something like that, and just free up those fibers. Before I tie this in, I'm going to rip my bodkin through and just get any of the short fibers out, even those tips up. So we're going to tie this in. We want to extend it just beyond that hook bend right there. And just like the braid, this has essentially no aesthetic value. This is entirely there to provide sort of some trapped air to this fly. It'll all make sense here shortly. So get that tied in. Got some less than neat fibers there. So we're going to get rid of those real quick. All right, from there, we're going to move into some SF fibers. We're going to do a body with this. This is just a white color, translucent. It's got some pearl flash in there. We're going to top it off with UV mackerel, again to imitate things like silver sides or juvenile herring. We don't need a whole lot of this material, but you want to give yourself a decent amount, and I'm just stacking this and evening it out right now. Get rid of any short fibers, and I'm going to just come in, because sometimes this gets tangled in the package, and just hit it with this brush real quick, or comb, I'm sorry. I just like to get everything oriented in the same plane, and you can trim this if you're tying a smaller fly, but personally I'd rather trim it at the end of the fly. Fold it around there, hit it with a few loose wraps, and make sure that it's evenly distributed. Oop. And if you're tying a small fly, you can certainly pre-trim this stuff, but I would rather just trim it all at the end. So now once we have that all the way around the hook, we're going to fold this all rearward. Again, 360 degrees around the hook. Get a few securing wraps and put a little dam there so that that all stays facing rearward. So now we're gonna come up here with a top color. This is UV mackerel, and any accenting color that you want, but like I said, we're going for a juvenile herring sort of look here. Get yourself less than you used for the white. This is only gonna go on top of the fly. Just like I did with the white, sort of strip it out and make sure you don't have any really small fibers, and you'll see that that is a pain to work with for this solar as resin. So I'm gonna lay this just straight on top of the fly. All right, so we're gonna distribute that right on top of the hook. It doesn't go all the way around. And I wanna make sure that these fibers are all the way on top of that fly before I seat it. And now we're gonna just do the same, make sure it's nice and spread out. Now fold it back and then catch it with your thread and secure it in. That's the tying portion of the Flex Fleye. So I'm gonna hit it with a whip finish, throw a second one on there, and snip our thread. All right, before I move into some flex resin, I wanna just come in here with a comb and take a second to make sure everything is going the same way. And what I'm gonna do after that is, see these short fibers, I'm gonna get rid of them because they're just gonna get in the way of our resin work. And all the materials that we're working with today can be found at tridentflyfishing.com, as well as many, many others. And orders over 49 bucks do ship for free. So get on there if you want to fill your box before the striped bass are in your area. We're getting close to that time. So let's move in with some Solar Res Flex resin. And I want to apply this, let's get rid of that first. I want to apply this just beyond the eye of the hook, and then I'm gonna use this tube to sweep it back, and I'm applying light pressure with my left hand. Again, if you're a left-handed individual, you'll probably be using your right hand. So I want to bring this, I'm just drawing it on back just beyond the bend of the hook, and you'll see how it's taken that bait fish form already. Sometimes this can be just a pain to work with these sort of kinked fibers like this, but it's not impossible. Just take your time and keep it moving. You don't want to apply left to right and right to left. I find that it's easiest to start at the front and just sort of almost paint it rearward. And down here at the bottom, this is a good opportunity for durability. I want to get this tight to the hook shank because that's going to keep everything durable and also let your braid shine through. You can see that right there. I'm going to just sort of a tough one, but this fiber is just irking me, so we're going to go ahead and remove it. See how that makes everyone's life easier. All right, so I'm about happy with that. One more that I don't like. Get rid of them. It'll certainly make your life easier if you do it now. So we're gonna cure this now with our light. That's our first coat. We'll get a second in there, throw some eyes in the mix as well. All right, so now we're gonna move in with some 3/16 silver eyes. You can use any color eye that you like. I'm gonna go ahead and place those just beyond the hook shank, or the hook eye, I'm sorry. If you crease them, it makes your life a lot easier when applying them. Alright, there's our eyes. And now we're going to come in with our final coat of Solar Flex. This coat is a lot less tough than the first one. Once the first one's there, you have your base laid down. This coat is just there to fill in any gaps or valleys that may have been caused, as well as get your eyes well glued in. I'm about happy with that. Let's fix that up just a little. Anywhere that things look uneven, you want to just resolve that. I'm okay with that now. So let's move in with our UV light and get that cured up. You want to really be sure to cure this stuff. If you're sitting here tying a half dozen of them or whatever, I will throw them outside in direct UV sunlight before I take them fishing. Sort of a good tip. Alright, so this fly is about done, but I do want to come in here and just do some light trimming. So don't get in here all crazy, because you can't add what you remove. But I want to just create a nice bait fish profile here. This fly is probably about 4.5 inches long. Maybe 4. But this one actually didn't require a whole lot of trimming. Get rid of any errant fibers. We're almost there. I like to trim this in my hand, but it's certainly chef's choice whether you want to keep it in the vise or manipulate it with your fingers. I just prefer it in my hands. But I'm happy with that. That is a Flex Fleye. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.